When the Jeep Compass Trailhawk was recently launched here, it caused quite a stir amongst enthusiasts as a more hardcore version of the Compass and with the welcome addition of an automatic gearbox. But keen off-road enthusiasts would have noticed that the Compass Trailhawk is still in fact very far away from proper Jeep four-wheel drive models such as the Wrangler. Why? Well, this car still doesn't have a low ratio transfer case. What it has is a computer-controlled all-wheel drive system. So what the Compass Trailhawk actually is a more off-road worthy version of the standard model that's been better designed to deal with low traction surfaces such as snow-covered roads and light off-roading. As a result, it only makes sense to compare the Compass Trailhawk with a similar crossover SUV with an all-wheel drive system. And what better rival to pick than Honda's CR-V diesel automatic? Why? Well, because both these cars send power to their wheels via a 9-speed automatic gearbox manufactured by ZF. What we have here then are on-road oriented all-wheel drive automatic SUVs. So for the purposes of this test, let's stick to their on-road performance. Now the Compass with its 2-liter turbo diesel engine is fairly powerful. In fact, it develops the same power output as its standard counterpart, so it's got 170 bhp. Now this time around in the Trailhawk, you get a 9-speed automatic gearbox, so life has become that much easier in this car. Now that's the beauty of these new age automatic torque converter gearboxes. They tend to mask turbo lag very well, and for that reason, cars always accelerate very smoothly and in a more linear fashion. Now upshifts from this gearbox are excellent. They're just so smooth and you can't detect them at all, and they're also always right on time. So ZF's 9-speed automatic, you really have to give it to them for developing such a smooth shifting gearbox. But unfortunately, it's not all smooth sailing for this gearbox. For what happens is that under kickdown acceleration, there is a fair amount of delay. You know, the gearbox, once you mash the pedal, it takes its own time to understand what's happened and give you a gear or two lower. So as good as upshifts are, I'm afraid you're going to suffer a little bit on the downshift front. Now the problem here comes because there's no sport mode for this gearbox, and neither do you get paddle shifters, so you'll have to make do with Tiptronic gear shift changes. But the good news is that these Tiptronic changes from this transmission are very smooth and quick, so it's very responsive on that front. So driving in the city in normal D mode is not going to be a problem at all, but once you step on it out on the highway, you're going to have to use the Tiptronic mode for kickdown acceleration at least. But there is an inherent problem here. You know, the lack of a sport mode has caused this gearbox to be tuned in a slightly different manner than it should. So what happens is, supposing I'm on a single lane road and I pull out from behind a car to overtake. At this point, I mash the long pedal and the gearbox drops a gear or two and I surge ahead, and then I pull in ahead of the car, and supposing there's another car ahead of it, so now I'm between two cars, yeah, and I've had very heavy throttle input at the point of acceleration. But once I get back in line on the road, the gearbox continues to hold that gear and high revs. So all of a sudden you've sped up, and you've come ahead, and now you're back, but the gearbox is still holding that gear. I'm still revving at 3000 RPM. There's a fair amount of NVH inside the cabin, and I don't need that power at that point in time, so the gearbox should sense that and upshift a gear or two as required. So I'm just going ahead now at a medium pace with the engine revving away for no apparent reason. It's just consuming more fuel and causing quite a lot of NVH. So to me, this is the biggest drawback of the setup for this ZF 9-speed automatic in the Compass Trailhawk. But moving past that, once you hit an open highway and you really step on it, the Compass's inherent fun to drive dynamics come into play once again, because you feel very confident out on the road at high speeds. You know, the car sits very well in a straight line. Having said that, there are a few changes here that you feel out on the open road in comparison to the standard Jeep Compass, because now you sit much higher, so the taller springs and the suspension setup have led to you feeling more body roll around high-speed bends. So yes, that has come into play, whereas the standard Compass just sits very well around high-speed bends and takes them with full confidence, whereas in this car you feel the higher center of gravity, and to that extent the steering also does not feel as direct and communicative as that of the standard Jeep Compass. Nonetheless, in this Trailhawk spec as well, the Jeep Compass feels very confident out on the open road. Now when you push this car really hard, the engine will rev to 4000 or 4200 RPM, where an upshift is given to you by the gearbox. Another aspect I want to talk about in the Compass Trailhawk is its suspension setup. Now, true that its higher ride height has affected its center of gravity and handling. Another flip side of this suspension setup is that over wavy roads, the car tends to wallow a little bit, so you feel a lot of that motion inside the cabin. The positive side out of this is that no matter how big a pothole you throw at the Compass Trailhawk suspension, this car will just simply dismiss them without any problem at all. It's quiet in its operation while dismissing potholes. At the same time, you really don't feel the bumps that much. As a consequence of that, the ride comfort here is truly phenomenal. I mean, literally there is nothing that Indian roads can throw at this car that it cannot dismiss, without upsetting the cabin or the passengers. Another factor that is helpful is that, because the ride height is so high now, and the approach, departure and breakover angles are so good, especially because of that front new bumper. So when you come across sudden, abrupt, huge craters on the road, the Compass Trailhawk can just drop in and out of them, and it's truly, truly brilliant, and this is exactly what you need for our roads. Now, as you may be aware, the Compass Trailhawk has a much bigger engine than the Honda CR-V diesel. Now, this 1.6-liter turbocharged diesel engine develops 118 bhp, quite shy of the Jeep's 170 bhp figure. But you know what, nonetheless, this ZF automatic has really worked wonders for this powertrain in the Honda, because you don't feel underpowered at all. Instead, you get this linear surge of acceleration, and like in the Compass, upshifts from this ZF 9-speed automatic are quite smooth and quick, so you are never left wanting for anything, and it's a really, really smooth drive in the CR-V. Especially in the city, you really don't need more power at all. This engine and gearbox combination has been set up so well, but like in the Compass, the issue here comes with downshifts. For when you want sudden acceleration for those quick overtaking maneuvers, this 9-speed gearbox again will need its moments to shift down a gear or two. But unlike in the Compass, it's far easier in the CR-V to overcome the issue of slow downshifts, because you have Sport mode. So you need to depress the drive button once again and Sport mode will be engaged. Now, typical of Sport mode, it holds on to gears much longer. When you're accelerating, it's faster to downshift gears, and when you're throttling hard, it will take you to about 4000 to 4200 RPM depending on throttle input to give you max power out on the road. Now again, upshifts typical of this gearbox are quick, but Sport mode crucially speeds up those downshifts and holds on to gears very intelligently. So in fact, on a single lane road, if you pull out from behind a car, overtake and come back in front of that car and you want to slow down, the Sport mode in this gearbox understands that and doesn't hold on to revs at that point for too long. So depending on your throttle input, the Sport mode is very intelligent in that sense to understand if you continue to want more power after sudden heavy acceleration. But if you lift off, then it's going to just raise the revs, go up a few gears, and you'll be left in the right part of the power band in the correct gear. So Sport mode in the gearbox of the CR-V is quite effective, but if you still seek a more engaging driving experience, well, you get paddle shifters behind the steering wheel, so you're covered. I just wish the steering was a little more communicative, but remember what? The CR-V is set up for through and through drive comfort. So in fact, drive this car slow and you'll appreciate the CR-V even more, because this car is all about relaxed driving dynamics. The car turns in very smoothly around corners, the light automatic steering means you don't require to put too much effort into this at all. And the steering is pretty direct, yeah. It may not be the most communicative, but it is fairly direct. So you're always confident, be it at slow speeds or high speeds. And otherwise, when you're not driving fast, the gearbox is always in its comfort zone in D mode. So at slower speeds, the gearbox is always up to speed. It always holds the right gear, and it's so comfortable to drive in the city. You don't have to put too much effort into anything at all. Other things I like about a CR-V, well, NVH is much lower in this than in the Jeep Compass. So that again lends to the comfort quotient. And then there's the matter of this car's fuel efficiency. You know, it also comes with an eco button, but trust me, this car with its smaller 1.6 liter engine is far more fuel efficient than the Jeep Compass. So from an ownership standpoint, that is quite an important factor. Now moving on to the all-wheel drive system on the Honda CR-V. Well, unlike the Compass, you don't get any other buttons here. There are no external controls here for you to control the all-wheel drive system with. Now, typical of an all-wheel drive system, this one works on the principle of torque on demand. So the moment the CR-V's computers detect that the front two wheels are struggling for traction, that's when it immediately sends power to the rear wheels so that you can get yourself out of a tricky situation. So the Compass Trailhawk and the Honda CR-V may not look like very similar vehicles, but in fact they are. And thanks to its new 9-speed automatic gearbox, this car is now more capable than ever before on the road. You know, it makes those urban city drives, stop-start traffic so much easier. As for the Honda CR-V, this car is all about its out-and-out comfort quotient. True, it has its all-wheel drive system, but like I mentioned, these are more on-road biased vehicles. So with that in mind, the Honda CR-V has been designed in every way to be a comfortable vehicle. The way you sit in the cabin, to the way you drive, to the buttons for the gearbox, everything is designed for optimal comfort. Even the suspension setup and the steering setup, all of it is designed to make the CR-V an absolutely comfortable highway cruiser. As for the Compass Trailhawk, well, combined with its more powerful engine, its more sporty suspension setup ensures that you have an absolute blast on those fast highway drives. But this is a Jeep Compass Trailhawk after all, so it would be unfair to not drive this vehicle off-road. As a result, we've called in a guest entrant, the Isuzu D-Max V-Cross. Now this is the updated version, but what we're here to see right now is how Jeep's all-wheel drive system in this Trailhawk functions alongside a traditional four-wheel drive system. In Trailhawk spec, there's a new 4WD low mode in the Compass, which actually is not at all four-wheel drive, but a bit of a hack as it simply locks the 9-speed automatic gearbox in first gear. All-wheel drive lock meanwhile sends power continuously to all four wheels. Now, since the Compass normally sets off in a higher gear, the unused first gear has a short gear ratio, which multiplied with the axle ratio results in a crawl ratio of 20:1. But to truly put this Trailhawk all-wheel drive system to the test, we're going to demonstrate its capability over a small cross-axle uphill incline. The moment you set off with the all-wheel drive system locked and in first gear, you can sense the higher torque output and you do feel the higher grip levels. But when the sandy, slippery incline results in the wheels losing traction and one wheel going up in the air, the all-wheel drive system momentarily cuts engine power to the wheels before magically finding the right amount of power to send to each wheel and power the Trailhawk over the incline. In contrast, the four-wheel drive system in the D-Max V-Cross meanwhile has a much higher torque output in four-wheel drive load, as the engine's torque output is multiplied by the gearbox, then the transfer case, and then by the axles to give it monstrous levels of torque and grip. And since this is a purely mechanical system, there are no electronics that can cut power, allowing the Isuzu to swiftly clamber over the incline while simply brushing aside the loose surface and cross-axle articulation in an all-too effortless manner. So while the Trailhawk does feel impressive, this little incline revealed a very relevant factor of the Jeep all-wheel drive system. You see, while off-roading, there are conditions over loose and slippery surfaces where momentum is the key to not getting stuck. If a powertrain interrupts the energy supply to the wheels, a vehicle can get stuck in an instant. And once you're stuck, an all-wheel drive system simply does not have the power it needs to propel the weight of a car. In fact, even a four-wheel drive vehicle will get stuck in such a case. But a four-wheel drive system's mechanical energy is not interrupted by anything but the driver's foot. So you always have a better chance of A, not getting stuck, and B, there is far more twisting force from the powertrain that helps it move the weight of the car. The Jeep Compass Trailhawk, otherwise by Blueprint, is just the right off-roader to have with its compact footprint, relatively lightweight, and admirable approach, departure, and ramp over angles. Along with its 0.2-inch thick high-strength steel skid plates that protect the engine, gearbox, exhaust, and fuel tank. So unlike the standard Compass, this really is capable of some tough off-roading. It just needs a transfer case to become a legendary off-roader. But let's face it, a crossover SUV by design cannot accommodate a low-ratio transfer case. These SUVs are designed to perform better as on-road vehicles that aren't afraid to go off the beaten path. And at that, there's nothing better than a Compass Trailhawk.